Nothing to Declare, but very
Very
special
special
edition.
show.
Very special edition of Nothing to Declare. I'm Major Burdock. This is Phil.
Phil is up.
And we're going to get right into it. We've got Malik Obama coming on the show here, and we're not going to make you wait too long. But it's a real pleasure. Those of you familiar with the meme warfare in 2016, and there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of interest, and certainly Malik Obama is certainly played an incredibly vibrant, colorful role in the election in 2016. So we're here to talk to him today about what's come up since then in the past few years, and then what his view of everything is now. And then we're going to bounce back and forth with a few questions. And I've been speaking with him on and off for the last week and a half or so, and I'm just such a pleasure to speak with him.
Right, yeah, this is super exciting.
So we'd like to take calls, but we just simply can't. We don't have time to deal with this. We want to deal with everything at hand. So let's go ahead and bring Malik Obama on the show, and we'll just get right down to it, folks. This is going to be a really fun hour.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So Malik is in Kenya right now, and I originally talked to him when he was over in Virginia, and we're just going back and forth a little bit. And then he told me that he's over there. We need to catch up with him, see what's happening in Kenya. And wow, lots of questions. I don't know if we're going to get through them all, but we're going to bring him on right now and say hello to the brother of the former president of the United States.
Or as some folks on Twitter refer to him as, Best Obama.
Yes, that's correct. So we're bringing him on right now. If for those of you who don't know, Barack Obama was in the news recently celebrating his book, the anniversary of his book. Malik Obama is on.
Hey, howdy.
Welcome to Nothing to Declare, sir.
I can't hear you very well.
Uh-oh.
Can we turn
Can we get the volume up for him?
Up for us, up for everyone.
Is that better?
I can't get the question.
We're just introducing you. Your brother was recently celebrating the anniversary of his book, My Brother's Keeper, and so we wanted to start off with that. Now, I know you did an interview with Joel Gilbert, who wrote a book called Dreams of My Real Father, and there was a question regarding Frank Marshall Davis. I wanted to start off with that because we refer you to you. You're known as you're known as President Obama's brother, but there's even a question as to that. Have you learned anything recently since you spoke with Joel Gilbert about whether or not Frank Marshall Davis had any role in fathering the person who's now referred to as your brother?
They're saying in the chat that the volume is low.
Frank Marshall Davis. I'm not familiar with him that much. My friend Joel Gilbert is the one who brought that theory up, and I don't know about that because when my father was alive, he told me he had a son in the United States, and so the issue of Frank Marshall Davis, I don't know. I just learned about it when Joel Gilbert mentioned it. So I can't say because I was not with my father. I was not with anybody, at that time, but, I can't say. I really can't say, because I don't have the details or the information, um, other than what my father told me. And he did tell me that he had a son in the USA, and he showed me Barack's pictures.
Okay.
So when I first met him, it was just I I just I had no doubts in my mind that he was my brother or my father's son. So unless there's some proof, maybe DNA or something like that, nor definitely to prove that Barack is Frank Marshall Davis's son, it's hard for me to support that theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me change my mic up. I think we'll put these a little higher, just so you can hear me here. Now, so what do you think about Barack Obama celebrating a book called My Brother's Keeper? Because I've seen since 2016 and since you came in the news, it seems that Barack Obama was not being a good family member, was not a good brother to you. Has that changed in the last couple of years since you've been in the news? It's been a couple of years. Has that changed? Have you and Barack Obama become closer since he left office?
No, he hasn't. It hasn't changed. And for me, like I keep telling, and I've been telling the world, I'm really disappointed in him because he says, and he has all these slogans, and he talks about, being, and he also received or got the Nobel Peace Prize, and that kind of award to me symbolizes, you know, a great there's some kind of something very noble about that, and it's supposed to symbolize, some characteristics or some qualities that I think that he lacks, because maybe if he has something maybe I did something to him, it is, or because I tell him off, I tell him, you know I tell him off if I think that he's not, you know doing the right thing. And he doesn't like that. So if maybe he's doing it because he doesn't like my frankness, my forthrightness, I'm his elder brother, so I tell him off. Those qualities, he doesn't have them. Yeah. And when he talks about his brother's keeper, and he has cut me off. And he told me one time when we were on phone that he would cut me off because he wanted me to shut down my foundation because it had his name. And I told him that it's not your name. It's my father's name.
You had it first.
So I have a right to set up the foundation in his name. It is not your name. It is my father's name because you are Barack H. Obama II, which means that you were born when we were already Obamas and so forth. So you don't have exclusivity to the name. And I have a right as the eldest son of my father to set up something to memorize, to honor him. And he told me if I don't shut it down, he's going to cut me off and so forth and so on. And I think that's what he's done, which is vengeful to me. He and I think that also there's a lot of hypocrisy in all that, because I don't see him also being his brother's keeper, even to maybe the Black Americans who he's supposed to identify with, or the family here in Africa who he's supposed to identify with.
Mr.
So
Obama, I'd
that
like
is hogwash to me.
I'd like to introduce
And
you to
I find
Phil.
that he is quite arrogant, and he thinks he's above, or he's a god or something like that. He can do no wrong. And people love him so much that no matter what he does, nobody will question him.
Right.
So to answer your question, he's not his brother's keeper. He keeps it for himself.
Ooh.
Understood.
He's very selfish, as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Obama, I'd like to introduce you to Philip.
And he's a narcissist. He feels that he's too good for everybody, including me. I'm not in his class.
Oh no.
Yet.
Well,
I'm the original Obama.
Oh no. Well, this is Philip Fairbanks. He's one of our writers. I'd like to introduce you to him, and he's got a few questions that we'd just like to banter around with you. Meet Phil, Mr. Obama.
Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, one thing that I wanted to mention, you mentioned the family in Africa. I was watching a documentary where apparently George Obama living in the slums, so yeah, it does seem like he's definitely not caring for or taking care of his family. That reminds me of something I saw in the Washington Post. White House spokesman Josh Earnest was quoted saying that the president hasn't spent a lot of time with you guys especially after Trump invited you to the debate, and said that you guys talk about once a year at most, and one can only imagine how these conversations may go. Now, apparently, Washington Post didn't feel like going directly to you. So, in lieu of imagining, can you tell us what is it? Is it awkward dealing with Obama? Do you guys still talk at least once a year, or is the relationship so strained that you guys don't even really have any contact?
No, we don't have any contact. We don't have any contact, and I think what happened was like way back when he was the senator of Illinois. We had a disagreement. Well, actually, what it was that I had left the United States in 1995 to come back to Kenya, and in 2 years I ran out of money, so I had to come back to the United States. And I needed a place to stay, and he was my brother. And there was a time, we had a good relationship before that, and we drinking a lot and so forth. So I stopped drinking, and one of his promises to me was that he would always be there for me, And so coming back, when I needed to get back to the USA, I had nowhere to stay, so I wanted to shack up with him, to use that word. And he told me that I couldn't do the show because Michelle, wasn't for the idea. Didn't want that. So I finally got to the USA. I had a friend, and I got a place to stay. And then I get a letter from me. I think either a letter or maybe he called me or somewhat, and he was upset that I would be in the USA and I wouldn't, get in touch with him or contact him. And I told him, brother, I tried to I needed a place to stay, and you wouldn't let me stay with you. For all you know, I could be in the gutter somewhere or in a shelter somewhere, So why do you think that I had to get in touch with you or communicate with you? And I don't know. And another thing I told him was that your aunt up in Boston is having a really hard time. This is your father's sister. She's the one who welcomed you in 1988 when you came to Kenya. And that Volkswagen that you all see, that my sister and all talk about, being used to get him from the airport and so forth, that belonged to my aunt, Zaituni, you know. And she loved him so much, but he abandoned her. He wanted nothing to do with her, and she was having a hard time in Boston. And I told him, so I chewed him up, and I told him off and all that. And I think that's where we started now. Not, we disagreed, and our relationship was started deteriorating from there. So it wasn't like he ever called me. I kept on trying to reach out to him throughout his term, and I would be going to the White House, or I went, okay, after the inauguration, he gave me Reggie's number and told me, okay, Reggie, is the guy. If I need anything, get in touch with Reggie. So I would call Reggie and I said, I need to see my brother. So Reggie would arrange, and it'd take like maybe 3 months, maybe even 6 months before I would get to be able to go to the White House. So I was the one who was reaching out to him. One time maybe he called me one time, because I had asked Reggie, could he call me? And he did. But it isn't like he was reaching out to me, or he wants to talk to his brother and so forth and so on. It seemed like to me I was just a bad pill.
Wow.
So I kept on, I because I'm the elder one and so forth, and he's my brother. So I didn't abandon him, but I kept on, reaching out all throughout his term. So afterwards, then I said to myself, this is a waste of time, and this is nonsense, having to do all that. If he's not going to want me, you can only reach out to somebody that much, and then you get the message, So I said, okay, fine. If that's it, then I'm going to also, just let it go. And that's when I realized that I was in the wrong place, with the wrong people.
What was it like?
I saw Mr. Trump, and something, it just lit up, and I said, "This is the man," and he impressed me, and that is how, and that is the situation as it is right now. So I'm thinking that with all this talk and so forth, even now with the interviews I'm doing, and I don't think that he's going to be very happy. And which means that any kind of reconciliation, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, it doesn't sound like you started it.
Who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize?
Well, you have the memes though.
Be able to make peace.
Mm-hmm.
So what was
me. He's the leader. He's the president. He's supposed to be that kind of person who could, do that. I'm just Malik. He's the president, the former president of the USA, the recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. So he should make peace. That's the way I feel. And he shouldn't get so petty with all this. And if he had, I supported him all that time for 8 years and so forth. And I'm just telling the truth, how he is. It's not that I hate him. It's not that I don't want him and so forth and so on. But I'm not going to go around, just I don't like to lie. And everybody, if somebody asks me, how's you and Burdock? And then I say, oh, we're okay, just to the image, to protect him. And I did that for a long time because they'd ask me so many things and about him, and I said, no, he's okay, we.
Uh-oh.
Let's give it a second.
Happy with him, etc., etc. All those nice things. But after a while, I'm tired of just lying and telling people. I tell them the real. I can't live with a lie. So that's what it is. And that's how it is. So
Are you looking
I
forward
hope,
to meme warfare in 2020? I mean, you were certainly the center of meme
hello,
warfare. You were certainly the center of meme warfare in
hello,
2016.
Oh, can you hear us?
Yes, we're here, sir. Uh, uh, the
hello,
the question was regarding meme warfare.
hello.
Meme warfare in 2020.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, we
sir.
can hear you.
Can you hear
us?
us right here?
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah,
we
now I
were
can hear you. I think there's some
Yeah, there was
connection
a
problem.
connection issue there for a second.
we're asking about whether or not you're looking forward to the new meme warfare that's obviously going to come out. You were certainly in the center of it in 2016. And it's already starting to heat up. Are you looking forward to that being part of the memes, being part of the Trump culture, re-electing the president?
Yeah, I'd like to do that, but I have a problem with Mr. Trump also because
Oh, yeah,
I've
tell
been
us.
his only supporter here in Africa. You know, I've supported him a lot. I went on a limb. Is that not the word? That's the word. I went out on a limb.
Right.
To be his supporter, but he doesn't acknowledge me. You know, I don't hear from him. He doesn't say anything about. It's like again, it's almost like he's like Barack or
Oh,
Barack,
no.
but it's not the same thing. He's not my relative. He's not my brother.
Right.
I
So
don't
it's
really
not the
know him that
same, yeah.
well. Not really. I just see him in the media, and I like what he says. I like he's to the point. He's bold. He's tough. I like his qualities. He's not afraid to speak his mind. You know, and my brother. I think my brother is a phony. He's afraid to speak his mind because he's trying to look good, to everybody. But Mr. Trump, he'll tell you off. He'll say what he likes. And I like that in a person. I like him. I still like him very much, and I'm still going to support him. I'll vote for him. I'm a Republican, etc., etc. But he doesn't acknowledge me. He didn't invite me to the inauguration. He
Oh,
doesn't
no.
invite me to the black people. He has all these things that he's doing in the black community, but I'm not part of it. And I feel that I should be part of it because, frankly speaking, I would die for him if I would. You know,
Wow,
I would
yeah.
do, because I like him. I like what he does. I like him, that kind of thing. So I'm still going to support him. I'm still going to vote for him, but I'm disappointed somewhat because he doesn't acknowledge me. He doesn't recognize me. He could at least maybe ask me to the White House or something like that, some kind of function, and I would come. I'd still be support. I'd wear his hat and everything because I really believe he's making America great again. The economy is good. If those people weren't fighting him and trying to, destroy him and everything, things there would be a lot that he could have done more than he's done. He's gone and made peace in North Korea with is it Kim Jong Un, and all these people have been trying for years. Historical. I told my brother he could have done that with Muammar Gaddafi, but he was too
Oh,
good, and he was, he's too snotty. My brother is too snotty to use the English word. You know, he's too snotty. He thinks now he's the president of the United States, and all that stuff, and yeah, and etc. He's lost his humility. He's lost his, how he used to be. He was a very simple man. He was very nice and everything. But now that power has corrupted him, and he felt like he couldn't go stoop down to Muammar Gaddafi and all that. But he could have made friends, and there could have been peace there. Look at Libya.
mm-hmm.
Gaddafi sent me to to Barack just to shake hands, and he had a good opportunity to make history. But look, Mr. Trump has done that. He's gone over there, and now there's peace with North Korea. Who would have thought that could have happened? For so many years, and also, Michelle has never set foot in Kenya, and Melania was here the other day.
Yeah,
Just imagine, just imagine, just imagine.
Michelle was never in Kenya. But then again, I read that.
relatives here in Kenya.
Yeah,
She
and
goes to Tanzania, which is the neighboring country, and she doesn't come to Kenya. Can you believe that?
didn't you have a question about Gaddafi?
Oh yeah, yeah. Speaking of Gaddafi, I've heard you mention him as one of your best friends. I've seen pictures of you with him. I was wondering,
Yeah.
first of all, what he was really like, and if you think, Barack and Hillary actually planned the coup in order to destabilize the region, steal the gold, and what do you think about the state of Libya now? I know it was a fairly industrialized nation, and now they've got slave auctions, slave auction blocks again. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your relationship with Muammar and what you think about all that badness
Muammar
that went
Gaddafi
on.
was I met him, and he's a very simple man. He wasn't, pretentious. He was very simple. And we had a good relationship. And I visited him almost like 3 or 4 times, and he wanted to unify Africa, and he was very independent, and he was doing a lot for his people. There was free education, free healthcare. You get some kind of pittance or money, or when you're through with your education to start off in life. Um, but the country was peaceful. But I really think that it may have not been my brother, but I think it was Hillary Clinton and her people, because I
Mm,
really feel that there's some network, some is it the
yeah.
something, a deep state,
Yeah.
people who actually have been there for a long time, and they set up the what do you call it, the
Foundations.
tone, they control what's going on there. And maybe they are the ones who set up or put Barack where he was, because he used to be nothing. He was nobody. And from nobody all of a sudden, he
Came
became
out
the
of
president of
nowhere.
the
Yeah.
United States.
Hmm.
He was nobody, and all of a sudden he's the president of the, so there had to be some kind of somebody or something that that set him up for that. And I think Hillary Clinton is part of that. So they're the ones who set up this situation with Gaddafi, because Gaddafi, even with the is it Lockerbie
Yeah, Lockerbie, Scotland, Pan Am.
scandal,
Hmm.
when that plane went down in Scotland, is it Pan Am, or
Yep, I believe
some
it
plane
was.
went down
Yeah.
in Scotland, but he paid uh, reparations. I think he paid off those people, the families. And even the time when all this thing was going on, there were good relations. There was a diplomatic, there was an embassy in Tripoli, and there was also an embassy in Washington, D.C. So there were diplomatic relations between Libya and the United States, and things were happening, I think, yeah, there was, if you can check, but there were good relations at that time. So I'm thinking that this, like you're saying, it had to be a setup. For some reason, they wanted Libya, Gaddafi to be out of there, because Gaddafi would not allow them, you know, to control Libya, the reserves, the resources, oil, etc., etc. So that must have been, I feel that, yes, there must have been some sort of conspiracy to remove Muammar Gaddafi from power. And it has failed miserably, or they're waiting for it to settle down so that they can go in for the spoils,
Yeah.
because Gaddafi now, Libya now is in a terrible state. Egypt now, this Al Sisi guy, who was supposed to be the vanguard of democracy, the reason for Mubarak being removed, he is now doing the same thing. He's now becoming, he, they've scrapped the term limits for for the presidency, which means that he can be the president for life. You see what I'm saying? In Egypt, they're executing people that, it's terrible. If you go to Yemen, it's terrible. This so-called, is it the Middle East, the spring,
The Arab
what was the
Spring,
term?
yeah. Arab Spring, they
thing.
called it, yeah.
Whatever that thing they called it. It's a mess. It's not working out. It's just a mess over there. So it was a terrible thing that they did, and I'm sorry to say that I'm upset somewhat that they removed a good man who was for his people, and now his country's a mess, and all these even Tunisia is a mess now. So if it had been something that they did that improved the lives of the people there, then we could be able to say that they did a good thing. But I'm just really upset and disappointed that had to be. It turned out that way.
Speaking of Africa and current politics, what is your opinion on the land appropriation happening in South Africa right now? Again,
like
Mr. Obama is in Kenya, and we did a studio test yesterday, so the connection is a little bit spotty. We'll just be patient, see if we can't get him back on. But yeah, fascinating stuff. This is just yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how Mr. Obama here plays into 2020, because this thing is starting to really, really heat up. So we'll see. We'll see if we can't get him back on. It was a little bit spotty yesterday, and you just have to bear with us, folks. So yeah, so I was thinking conditions and folks that want to ask Malik a question.
I've got a few right here that are really good questions that came out of the chat. If we can get to those.
Okay, we'll see if we can get to that.
I thought a nice segue, talking about, he mentioned how Burdock was not good for his own family, not good for Africans and African Americans. Here we go.
Back on, sir.
Sorry about that.
We were going to ask, just getting together, we know we've got a bad connection on. I was going to ask about South Africa and what your opinion of land appropriation is down there for basically people reclaiming land in the name of color.
To me, that's their mess. That's their business.
Okay.
So not even with a 10-foot pole do you want to touch that one? I got you. Yeah. Okay. I was wondering. We mentioned how Obama was not good for his own family, was not good for African Americans. How he's kind of screwed up places like Libya and Syria and a lot, Somalia. A lot of Northern Africa, a lot of Africa and the Muslim world was kind of screwed up by Obama. But some people still claim that he's a Muslim. Now, do you have any comment on religious history? If he ever actually practiced Islam or Catholicism, Judaism, or anything other than just plain Christianity?
No, I don't. He's not a Muslim.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Because of his stepfather. He was raised up in Indonesia. He was raised in Indonesia, and his stepfather, Totoro, was a Muslim. So it's hard to say, what he is, because when I knew him, and I went up to Chicago. And at his wedding, he had a Christian wedding. So it's hard to say. I don't know, but he says it's hard to say. uh, we people could say that he's Muslim at birth because his father was a Muslim, but my father didn't practice Islam. And I became a good Muslim in 1989 when I stopped drinking, and they told me to find a God of my understanding. And I thought the best God that I could think of was my grandfather's God. So I became a good Muslim. So I'm a Muslim up to now, and I practice because of that. I was told to find a God of my understanding,
Oh,
if
okay,
you know what
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, exactly. What makes sense to you? Yeah.
So it makes sense the Islam that I am. So I'm really the only practicing Muslim in my family because they're Muslim in name, but they don't practice,
Oh,
really,
really?
until I became a Muslim and I brought them back into Islam,
Hmm.
you know. But that's my grandfather's religion, So Barak, I don't see him practice. He doesn't pray. He doesn't do all that, So I'll think, okay, his origins are Muslim, is Islam, but he's not a Muslim. And he's
Mm-hmm.
married to Michelle, and definitely he's not going to be a Muslim with Michelle around.
Yeah.
So Michelle, Michelle, Michelle has him under, lock and key.
Aha. Okay, I heard
By the
that.
ball. That's what I say. So,
Oh
so
wow.
I know, he may have the background and his roots and so forth, but no, I don't think he's a practicing Muslim.
Yeah, I
No.
was gonna say I
So
didn't
he
think so
understands
either.
and so
No.
forth, and no, I don't think so. If he had been a good Muslim, and I'm a Muslim, him and I would have worked together. He could maybe even like Mr. Trump. You see, I admire him because he doesn't, he does what he wants, what needs to be done. He has Gerald Kushner, his son-in-law,
Mhm.
doing things for him because he's a Jew. So he's sending Jared Kushner, is it
Yeah.
Kushner,
Yeah,
to the
Kushner, yeah.
Middle East
They're gonna
to
love
help
that.
them. You see, that what I think is he's smart. Mr. Trump is really smart, and even if the man is his relative, as long as that man can do what he needs to be done, you know, in America, family comes first. People leave their jobs because of their family. Or maybe they do that because of their family. So I admire Mr. Trump because of that. He's not into all this media stuff, image stuff, all that. He's into he's a businessman. He's got a goal. He's focused on achieving what he needs to do, and I like that. I like those qualities in him. He's not a pussy, you know. If you don't mind me using that word in
No,
your,
no
Not at
problem.
all, no.
No problem. I have
in
got a
your
question for you.
podcast, but
Uh,
that's what he's tough. He's and I like that in a man. I like that in a leader because he's a leader. He's supposed to lead, not have to be worried about what the media says, what this person says, so-called, so on and so on. And so if he were, Barack was a Muslim, and so he could have, even if he wasn't a Muslim, he could have used me as a
mhm.
Muslim. I'm a Muslim to try to spread peace, to make peace with all these people. You see, Mr. Trump, the first thing he did, he went to Saudi Arabia. Just imagine. Just imagine.
Mhm.
That's the first thing he did. He went to Saudi Arabia. And everybody's talking about he hates Muslims and all that.
He even brought
That's
that
mind
country
to me, that's
singer.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, he even brought that country singer.
Saying
Was it
it, but
Toby Keith?
they're not looking at what he's doing, but they're going with their emotions,
Mm.
you know. So all those things, when you look at them, Mr. Trump is a great man. He's okay. If he could just, maybe invite me, acknowledge me, just with a tweet or something, call me over. I could help him a lot also with the African American community, maybe in Africa, things like that. I could do that for him, and make sure, that he's successful in what he needs to do. And he will be somebody remembered in history, as a great president. Yes. I will do that for him.
Well, see, get the word out. So you would accept a position in his cabinet, and
Oh, yes.
and
In a heartbeat.
as
In a heartbeat.
As a follow-up, just you were talking
Just
about.
imagine just imagine when I told my brother when he was elected that I'd like to assist him, he told me I was not a citizen of the USA. He forgets that I was in the United States in 1985. And I've been working in the USA since 1985. Legally. I had a green card, So he could have used me in many, many ways, even in his, in many ways. And he decided, you see, he's thick, as far as I'm concerned, to use that word. Yeah.
Speaking of emotional people, I'd like your opinion on these social justice warriors, these people that are victims that have been claiming to be victims. They're using their homosexuality or the fact that they're black. It's with identity politics and the whole culture of victimhood. I'd just like your opinion on how these people are, how this seems to be spreading through politics, that you have to be offended in order to gain power, or what's your opinion of all of this, especially this Jesse Smollett thing?
Okay, I don't know who Jesse Smollett is, but all I can say is that is nonsense, because for right now, the ceiling has been broken. Obama is the president, was a black man. He's now and the people who elected him were not black people. They were white Americans. Because the black Americans, they're not enough to elect a president. So they should stop talking about all this race stuff. It's got nothing to do with race. The white America elected Barack Obama. So they should stop that. The whatever it is that they're talking about, that is history now. It is history. Now people should get down to work.
Yeah.
So all these leftist people, they're dragging a dead horse. It's finished now. And you got people in the cabinet, even the ladies, you got the spokesman for the White House is a woman. Yeah, she's a tough woman, and all that.
Sanders,
yeah. So, and even in the Trump's cabinet, there are many women, and so forth. So, Obama was the president of the USA. He's a black man, and so forth. So all these people should stop all that and get down now to the business of building their lives, and making their lives better. So I don't believe in all that anymore. It's nonsense. Maybe in the 60s, yes, but now, it's over. Yeah.
Speaking of women, sir, there are different reports about you having more than one wife. Is there any veracity? Of course, it's a different culture. Do you have more than one wife?
That's a personal question.
Okay.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
That is a personal question, and so the number of wives that I have is my business, nobody else's business.
You got it.
We totally agree there.
Okay. Moving on. Do you want to take
it's
another
like asking somebody. It's like asking somebody, "What's the color of your underwear?"
I see.
Right.
Gotcha. Moving on. Do you want to take the next one, Phil?
Yeah, sure. Now, somebody in the chat was asking us if you could tell us a little bit about, was it your grandfather who was jailed by the British during the Kenyan independence movement?
No, that I think somewhat is fabricated because
really?
Obama's book, he wrote it. He sent me a manuscript. I was supposed to look over it and see if everything was okay. And but some parts, it's a long book, so some of it I didn't even bother. I just read it and I was just happy that he was writing a book, and he sent it to me and he acknowledged me as his elder brother to look it over. So there were some parts that were not really true, because I know my grandfather, and I was close to my grandmother, and she would tell me a lot of things, but I never heard anything about him being jailed. You know, okay, he was a cook. He went to war. He was one of the, you know, the World War II. He went to Burma. He was over in Zanzibar. He was all these places. He was a soldier, you know, an African soldier in the war. But I never heard that he was jailed. Never,
Wow.
never.
Wow.
So I don't know about all that. And I was just like skipping through the book and so forth. And so, you know, if I had started to ask about, then I would have had to. We had to. I was lazy. I think I was lazy at the time. So I just let it go, and I said, okay, it's a book. Whatever was really, really, really out of place, you know, I'd change it and so forth. But some of that stuff, I don't know. I think it is just the things that he made up. Okay.
You want to fire off
Okay.
the next one here, Phil?
Yeah, sure. Now,
Okay, anything else? I gotta go.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Anything you're working on, or you'd like to plug?
Yeah, just let us know.
I like people to read my book.
Okay.
Barack Obama Sr.
Mm-hmm.
The Life and Rise of a True African Scholar. It's a good read. This lady from the Boston Globe, she came to me. What's her name? So some lady called. She wrote a book, Obama Senior, The Bold and the Reckless. Some book. And okay, it's okay, but my book is from somebody who was there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the things that you need to know is in that book. So if you want to know about my family, it's in that book.
Well, I'm definitely
I'm
gonna.
also
I'm
writing a
definitely
book,
gonna check
my
it
own
out.
autobiography that I'm trying to look for a publisher for.
Ah, very
First,
exciting.
I'm trying to look for a publisher, and will tell you all about me, how I met my brother, everything.
Very
And
exciting.
so if we could find a publisher for that, then that would be something, to read.
Absolutely, sir.
Sweet. Wow. Thank you so much for
Well,
your time.
we really appreciate you taking the time for us, and the
Oh.
Goldwater thanks you. Everybody's really excited that you had the time to do this, and we wish you a wonderful day, sir. We'll get right back to you via email, and
Yes.
you have a wonderful day, sir. Thank you.
No, let me know. I'll be happy to talk some more. I had a lot of fun. This was
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
You guys are great guys, and I really
thank
enjoyed
you.
talking to you. Thanks
Yeah,
so much.
we had a blast as well.
And,
It was a
my
lot of fun.
greetings and regards to everybody out there. And let's elect Mr. Trump in 2020. We want him back. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day.
Wow. Well,
Ladies
that was
and
exciting.
Malik Obama. Wow, that was fun.
I'm not gonna lie, that there was some pretty awesome sound bites out of there. Oh my gosh! I had a feeling that Michelle ran the joint.
I think so.
She just seems like the kind of chick that Barack. What did you say, Barack? No, you're not going to, Barack. I kind of always had a feeling, but yeah,
Well,
it's nice to hear that.
So
yeah.
we'll be back on Tuesday.
To or regularly scheduled, or Monday night rather in the U.S.
Monday night, 7 p.m. Pacific.
We're on Manila time here,
and then of course we're on the story behind the story at 7 p.m. Pacific on Friday. So you all can see us then. I don't know what True's going to be doing, but he's definitely going to want to talk about this a little bit about Malik Obama. What a great guy! I mean, he's incredible. So hopefully we'll be in touch with him. I know we're going to be talking in the future. So
also, before we leave, I'd just like to go on the record and say this is a real Tennessee accent. I am not a Russian. I recently learned that I'm a Russian.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What is it? We were supposed to do a sign or something.
Yeah, I thought maybe we could put something on I don't know if we got the green screen working or whatever. I got
I don't know. We should put something to say that we are
Yeah, we're American. We're
not Russian bots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beep bop da,
So
comrade.
what is
No.
Hashtag 200.
The mighty 200, the
Mighty
200 list.
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, signing off. Major James Burdock from Manila having interviewed.
And Phil, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Malik Obama. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. We'll have one of these, something like this every month. You'll see it on the Goldwater. And thanks again for the studio taking care of us so well today. Godspeed, everyone. Have
Until next time.
Day.